Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alkriki and Today FM rocks here in Tabwa.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Usur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Indonesian had opportunity to talk on Girmit Day lost. Call for increase in cement prices. And travel advisory issued to New Zealanders visiting Fiji.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Amrita Sagar.
Attorney General Ayaan Syed Qayyum has lashed out at National Federation Party leader Biman Prasad, saying that he lost a golden opportunity to talk about Girmit Day in Parliament earlier this week by digging up the past. Biman Prasad accused the government of stoking up the past to incite racial disunity while responding to Education Minister Rosie Akbar's ministerial statement on Girmit Day celebrations. Pranita Prakash reports.
There was a commotion in Parliament a day after Girmit Day celebrations as National Federation Party leader Professor Biman Prasad accused the government of causing racial disunity. He kept on talking about academic Dr. Brij Lal and his wife, who were banned from coming to Fiji.
This is about Girmit. They talk about working together. They talk about unity. Yet, they have banned the son of Girmitia, whose contribution to the Girmit is immense. We have talked about him. He did the Queen 87, but he moved on. He gave the 1997 Constitution to the people of this country. And you keep stoking the past to whip up racial disunity. You did that in the last election. You did that in the last election. You did that in the last election. Yes, Honorable Speaker, we don't forget the past. We don't forget the past, but we should not stoke up the past to whip up racial disunity in this country, as these people have done.
Attorney General Ayaan Syed Qayyum says the NFP leader took the issue out of context.
The problem, unfortunately, with Honorable Prasad is that he appears to be of late quite confused about things. It was said within the context when Honorable Minister Akbar talked about the contribution of the Girmitias and how the first boat, the ship carrying indentured labourers, arrived in Fiji on the 14th of May, 1879, and she talked a lot about the Girmit experience itself and what they went through and what we need to do in the future, etc. She also just in one paragraph highlighted the coincidence of the first school occurring also on the 14th of May in 1987. That was the only reference to it. And I cannot understand why Honorable Prasad is going on about we bring up the past.
Attorney General says Prasad lost a golden opportunity to talk about Girmit Day.
And I do not know, frankly, what Honorable Prasad was on about. I think he kind of, maybe still disturbed by the loss and the predictions that made they'll win many seats and perhaps even form government. Maybe still, suffering from that loss. And also, I think what happened was he predominantly missed a wonderful opportunity to talk about Girmit and highlight what actually happened with the Girmitias. But he used, I think, nearly 3/4 of his speech to talk about Brij Lal and how Brij Lal should be, allowed into Fiji.
The minister says Dr. Brij Lal may be a descendant of the Girmitia but is not an epitome of Girmitia experience. He adds that Lal is no longer a Fijian citizen as he gave up the citizenship willingly. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The Pacific Cement Limited, a subsidiary of Fijian Holdings Limited, has made submissions to the Fijian Competition and the Consumer Commission to increase cement prices. Group Chief Executive Nozab Farid says they have done this because the company has been facing many difficulties in the past years. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Fijian Holdings Limited Chief Executive says the operational cost between 2013 and this year has so far increased by 18%, while the selling price for cement has remained the same.
So we have made submission to Fiji Commerce and Competition Commission to look for them to look at us, look at our cost structure. So that is very important. Definitely we don't want to increase the price and give a burden to the consumer, but we also, investors, we have to be responsible. I have close to 80 workers there. So we need to look after it. It should be a responsible production.
Nazar Farid says they've also invested a substantial amount of money in capital expenditure.
So for example, for last 2 years alone, we have spent close to 4.5 million as capital expenditure. We had a problem with the motor, we have installed a new motor, we have installed a new gantry. So we have spent a lot of money to get it right. Definitely we want to do that way.
The Consumer Protection Agency has confirmed to FBC News that they've received the submission from Pacific Cement Limited.
They are citing issues such as making investments into their plant, ensuring that they get better quality cement for Fiji, and that they continue to be in operation at the current rates. They have cited that they're not making equitable returns and profits through selling of cement.
Chief Executive Joel Ibrahim says they are in the process of reviewing the submission and will announce the results once the review is complete. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
New Zealand nationals travelling to Fiji either for business or for vacation are advised to exercise safety and take extra security precautions, especially in urban areas at night. This follows an official travel advisory that was issued by the New Zealand government this week, aimed for their citizens living and travelling overseas. Akusita Tale reports Defence Minister Inia Seriratu is aware of the advisory, however has assured that protecting locals and tourists is top priority.
Defence Minister Inia Seriratu says they're taking this travel advisory seriously and will ensure tourists are well protected.
We need to ensure that the protection not only of our people but our visitors are well looked after while they are here in the country, and we will do our very best to ensure that safety and security within the areas are maintained at the highest level.
There has been no confirmed reports of tourists being targets of opportunistic crimes such as theft, robbery and home invasion. However, Seriratu says the New Zealand government has every right to issue advisories for their citizens.
We know that in Fiji there are isolated cases, but Fiji is still safe. Fiji is a friendly place and we want to maintain that and of course continue to attract our visitors. All that we have to do is take responsibility and act accordingly to ensure that we maintain the safety of our people.
Meanwhile, New Zealanders have been advised to be alert of their surroundings and take steps to safeguard and secure their personal belongings. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Some member countries of the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat continue to face challenges from their own allies. President of Nauru and Forum Chair Baron Wanga says there is no doubt that when it comes to climate change effects, small Pacific Island states are more vulnerable than others. Despite this, Wanga says Forum countries continue to try to work together for a stronger Pacific position. With the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres in Fiji last week, Pacific Islands leaders were given a seat at the table to hold one-on-one deliberations.
The most vulnerable in the Pacific, we know who those countries are. And the bigger countries in the Greater Pacific Islands Forum may have different attitude towards this, but certainly we're trying our best to sing from the same song sheet.
There is currently no wage regulation guideline for the maritime industry. This has been reiterated by Transport Minister Chone Usamate, adding this will only be considered once the national minimum wage is reviewed. Seniani Boila has more.
The Transport Minister is urging the Employment Ministry to consider the maritime industry when revising the country's national minimum wage rate.
To make sure that as they review the national minimum wage, they also develop one for this maritime sector. Because currently, for your sector, you just come under the national minimum wage. So it does not take into account the different types of jobs that you have in the industry and establishing minimum terms and conditions for them.
Maritime and Safety Authority Licensing Manager Captain Tomasi Keti says it's about time seafarers are recognized.
Got a crop of people in there. They are in the maritime industry. They have been forgotten. As the minister says, we don't have any guidelines, wage guidelines for our seafarers. Sad. We've got a wage guideline for the security guards and for those that worked in the government factory. But for the seafarers who are bringing in monetary values into Fiji, we don't have that. And I hope that this organization, Ms. Girmit, will assist also in terms of getting this wage guideline for seafarers, as I said.
In the meantime, the maritime industry is working on narrowing the gender gap in the industry by creating more awareness and program. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Still to come, plans to establish Girmit Museum underway. And young veteran teacher changing lives. Details after the break.
Nambula FM, nambando ay nasere.
Hoya ubasit sai lambasa, ya ndo talita ino warong nambula FM nambando ay nasere.
Guya do tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong nambula FM nambando ay nasere.
Wana mtuma nambula FM nambando ay nasere nambaluan.
Na vengo fanya na tao.
News of the establishment of a Girmit museum has been welcomed by many descendants of Girmitiers. While a few highly praised the efforts made regarding this project, others commented about their traditional culture and artifacts being protected. Savaratambo reports that an expression of interest has been called for availability of land in an effort to establish the Girmit Museum.
This comes after strong consideration was raised on the importance of upholding and preserving the traditional culture of the Girmitiers.
I strongly believe that we need to preserve our heritage, whether it's Girmitiers or any other personal or groups that have made an impact on Fiji's history and have contributed to the socio-economic development in the country. So the overall plan and the design works, we haven't finalized that.
I thank government for this idea. I think it's a good idea.
The project is important as it will keep all the traditional artifacts and histories of the Girmitiers. Descendants of Girmitiers highly praise the efforts put in place by government.
I also believe they should open the museum to protect our culture.
It should be built. The whole world should see what the Girmitiers did for the country and also for the benefit of our future generation.
The Singh family of Ndawilebo housing in Osori still keeps some of the items that was used by their great-great-grandmother. Meanwhile, according to Education Minister Akbar, they should be able to move forward with the project estimated to cost around $200,000 once land details are finalized. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
The new executive chef for the Western Denarau Island Resort and Spa, Jose Dominiquez, believes local produce and taste are vital when serving tourists. Speaking during a private function at the resort last night, the Venezuelan-born chef is excited to serve Caribbean dishes and taste Fijian food. Felipe Naikaso has more.
Jose Dominguez, the new executive chef for the Western Resort, is looking forward to sharing his knowledge on Latin American food in exchange for more knowledge about our local delicacies.
Yes, I came here in the middle of the event, I think a week before the whole event started. It was a great opportunity for me to know the thing. We were serving more than 1,500 people. Really big, important event for Fiji.
Dominguez, who has more than 30 years experience as a chef, has rated Fijian food highly.
I think it's an island that is full of flavor. You know, tropical flavors, seafood, fish, is just around the corner, right? And the sea. So I think, of course, it's actually what every kind of chef will dreaming about it.
It is, I think, in hospitality and hotels, food and beverage is at the very heart of how we position our hotels. It is key to the success of tourism and customer experience.
The Westin confirmed more than 30 applications from around the world were received for the position of executive chef. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
Tonight on Successful Fijian, we meet Temesia Tuidaumia. Growing up around the classroom with his mother, father and great-grandfather teachers, it was a natural progression for Temesia to fall in love with education and its empowerment at a young age. Educated in Hawaii in early childhood development, Temesia has brought his love and passion for teaching home to Fiji, helping educate youngsters in some of the most impoverished communities. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
I think the really cool thing about it is because I grew up around early childhood, things were on my fingertips, not as math was, that was a struggle.
It's clear he wears his heart on his sleeve when it comes to early childhood education.
I felt really strongly to move back to Fiji. There was something about being a voice for the voiceless, for these young children here. And so I moved back.
Only in his early 20s, Temesia is a veteran teacher with a mobile kindy development among his career highlights.
My mother was also part of the World Forum Foundation for Early Care Education, so that's what I'm wearing here. And she became a global leader for Fiji. And as part of a global leader, you need to do an advocacy project. It's mandatory. So she came back to Fiji in 2009 and she thought, what can I do? So she started Kindy at the Park.
While maintaining work and establishing several private schools, Temesia and his team have turned their attention to those in need, offering pre-primary education.
It's a lot of work. We're going out to community, we're training staff to be able to be flexible because our teachers, they don't just work in the mobile kindies, they work at our private schools before they go to the communities because our motto is early childhood counts, but providing high quality education.
It's this work where his passion has thrived and the mobile kindy Fiji have sprung up in more locations.
UNICEF Pacific saw our initiative and thought, hey, we'd love to work with you. This is a great approach. So since 2009, I'd say around 2013 pioneered mobile kindy, and now it's 2019 and we have about 11 sites happening right now.
And what started as a goal for increasing access to education for little ones here has now literally taken Temesia to the world. Not content to rest on his laurels, Temesia is now developing primary school curriculum.
I have a heart for curriculum. I love writing curriculum for children, especially children. In the Pacific, we're so practical. Like, children love to learn with their hands.
And he's not stopping there. This year, he launched an app, Bumbu Help, which is especially for parents, guardians and caregivers.
What were the things that these parents were lacking in, or what were the parents or caregivers just needed a little bit more of information about? And so that's how I built the categories. So the categories go from teething to how to talk to your children.
Currently being piloted, Temesia is hopeful it will eventually be available to all Fijians. Nelson Mandela once said that there is no keener revelation of society's soul than that way in which it treats its children. For Temesia, it's not only a shared sentiment but a life's calling that he hopes will catch on and ensure Fiji's youngest students get all the early education they need. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Final results are being counted in Australia, where Prime Minister Scott Morrison hopes his victory in yesterday's election will give him a majority government. His Conservative coalition has defied the polls and now needs to win 3 more seats to seal a shock majority. Exit polls had predicted a Labour Party win for the first time in 6 years, but Labour leader Bill Shorten resigned in the wake of his party's surprise defeat. He will not seek re-election as his party's leader. The final result may not be known for some hours, but with more than 75% of votes counted, the Liberal National Coalition has won or is ahead in 73 seats in its quest for a 76-seat majority, with Labour trailing on 65 seats. Up ahead in sports, tougher road ahead for Rewa. And Baber to join national team tomorrow, with this and more coming up.
For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Alpriga, Koroko, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM.
Only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Surrey. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Aotearoa.
A goal on either side of the half proved to be the difference for the Bar side in their Vodafone Premier League match at Ratu the Kambal Park in Nosora this afternoon. Bar defeated Rewa by 2-0. Aquila Dama reports the loss means Rewa will have to lift their performance in the next round.
This was Rewa's last game in the first round of the Premier League, and they have secured 6 points, leaving their disappointed coach searching for answers.
Well, I think, just to be honest today, and I think as a coach, even though if you lose and when your team did well, but I think you can take that. But I think what was the outcome of today's result? I think none of the boys turned up and prepare of the game today, and I think one of the things that contributing factor for us today, I think the boys have, I don't know how they prepare themselves mentally, but I think today it just shows that none of the players have stood up, and could have just sort of there and put the team on their shoulders and push the team.
What Rewa needs to do now is try and avoid the relegation zone. Meanwhile, the man in black struck first in the 24th minute today through Daryl Kakasi before Sana Ilawanga netted the second goal in the 54th minute. Bar coach Runil Kumar says his young players delivered well with the guidance of veteran Avines Warren Swami.
The young players really proved themselves that they want to be in the team, so they really work hard for Bar, so they really do their job. So I was really happy the way they played. So we're gonna have a 1 week break, so then we're gonna start again. So we'll prepare for our the matches remaining. So we won't let the boys to just be free. So we have to do something to get boys going on.
Kumar has also revealed that most of the senior players will return in their next VPL match. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Fiji Airways Sevens coach Gareth Baber will join the national side tomorrow. Baber was just discharged from the hospital on Friday. The national Sevens coach was admitted in hospital for a couple of days due to a bacterial infection. As a result, the Fiji Sevens side left the country without their coach on Wednesday. Former national coach Tamasi Dama Sr., strength and conditioning coach Nadhani Dhawanimbuka and assistant coach Kane Jury are with the team in London. Gareth Baber will leave our shores tomorrow. Fiji is pooled with Kenya, Samoa and France for the London Sevens, which kicks off next weekend. Swire Shipping Fijian Latui captain Moses Evoka says they have learnt a lot after their close win yesterday. The 33-year-old believes their next match will be even more challenging. Voka, who played a grand game at blindside flanker, says there's still a lot to learn. At the same time, they're yet to adapt to the global rapid rugby rules. The Latui defeated Kangifa Samoa 38-32 at Lotoka's Churchill Park. The next match is against the Western Force this weekend. Voka says it's great to start their campaign with a win.
I think the Samoans give us a tough game. We managed to fight to the end. I thank the boys for their great effort. We were just talking to each other and just fight till the end, and we managed to pull that through, and we managed to get a victory at the end.
Valau's quest to join the Skipper Cup rugby competition next year is on the right track. This was after they recorded a 17-15 win against Maduata in the Vodafone Vanua Championship yesterday. Aquila Dama has the details.
Another win away from home for Ovalau in a week. They defeated Northern Bulls last week and managed to see off home side Maduata in another exciting encounter yesterday.
Firstly, I would like to work on our defense. We were just waiting down there, allowed the Maduata team to gain territory while they were on attacking. That's the first one, and the second one is on attack. We lose so many balls on the line out. They contested. So we'll work on the line out and even our pots in attacking.
Ovalau will now host Nanukuloa on Saturday, and coach Lukevulo says they have to be consistent. Maduata, on the other hand, recorded their second loss in a week and their third for the season. Coach Ndingitaki Levadi says giving away possession cost them the game.
I think some of the phases of the game, especially turnover, I think we turn over a couple of balls which is costly for this afternoon's game, and also playing from our danger zone. we know that they're gonna really come at us, and that is one area. I think they just visited our 22 two times and they scored 2 tries, and that is the good thing about Ovala, and that is what we anticipated that they're going to do. And we just couldn't exit from our red zone, and that cost us the game.
Maduata will now play neighbours the Kaunrove next Saturday. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Defending Super Rugby champions, the Crusaders were held to a 19-all draw by the Stormers in Cape Town this morning. In other Super Rugby matches, the Waratahs beat the Reds 40-32 and the Lions defeated the Highlanders 38-29. But it was the Blues who defeated the Chiefs 23-8 at Eden Park in Auckland last night. It was also the first time they'd beaten the Chiefs in 8 years. Close to $200,000 was raised by Fastenok through ticket sales for their lottery. It was drawn on Friday at the Asco Motors showroom in Namboa. Permanent Secretary for Youth and Sports Maritino Nemani told officials and guests at the lottery ticket draw that there is nothing better than being part of anything involving sports. Nemani was part of the Fiji team for the 1979 South Pacific Games in Suva. He told officials and guests that sponsors are important partners and their contribution to the team effort must be recognized. Meanwhile, Chef de Mission Mr. Patrick Bauer says the 2019 Samoa Games is a big event, adding this year's Team Fiji will be one of the biggest assembled to travel offshore. Today, some showers were experienced over the northern parts of Fiji. Fine weather prevailed over the rest of the country. We take a look at the west. Pleasant conditions with temperatures reaching close to the 30-degree mark. And eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, it was a cloudy day in Suva and Nosori. Up north, dark clouds were the order of the day together with cool winds. Now at sea, a strong wind warning remains in force for all Fiji waters. Southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, increasing up to 30 knots from later today. For the tides, high tide was at 6:49 this afternoon, and the next low tide will be at 6:16 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:29. As for tomorrow, similar conditions to today will be experienced around the country. And looking further onto Tuesday, occasional rain and a few thunderstorms over the northern and eastern parts of the group is forecast. Recapping the main stories, opportunity to talk on Girmit Day lost, call for increase in cement prices, and travel advisory issued to New Zealanders visiting Fiji. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question segment. This week we're asking, should people stop using racist idioms? Visit our FBC website to answer. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe and good night.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nosori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nosori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nosori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.